Hello all, hope you're doing well today. Today we are continuing our conversation. It's chapter 7, part 3. We're talking about health fitness components today. Here we go. So cardiorespiratory fitness refers to the body's ability to deliver oxygen efficiently to working muscles during sustained physical activity. It is considered the most important component of health-related fitness as it supports heart and lung health, endurance, and overall well-being. This component of fitness is concerned with the aerobic efficiency of the body, how well the cardiovascular and respiratory systems work together to supply oxygen during prolonged exercise. And cardiorespiratory fitness can be improved and maintained through a consistent and well-planned exercise program. So the target heart rate zone is the optimal range your heart rate should be in during aerobic exercise in order to improve cardiorespiratory fitness. So this is how you calculate it. You first estimate your maximum heart rate or your heart rate max. And we use the formula 220 minus your age. You want to determine your target heart rate zone. So you're going to multiply that heart rate max by 55 to 90%. Now, there are different levels that you can use. It really depends upon what your goals are. This is very general, 55 to 90%. And it gives you a range that helps ensure your workout is effective but safe. So let's go through an example that help you understand how to calculate your target heart rate zone. Let's say you're 20 years old, because you may be. To find your maximum heart rate, we use the formula 220 minus your age. That gives you 200 beats per minute. That's your max. Now, you don't want to exercise at your heart rate max for extended periods of time. It may get up to that with competition, but ideally you train at a little bit lower range. And so to calculate that target heart rate zone that's most effective, 55 to 90% of that maximum heart rate. So 220, you're going to take 220 or 200 and multiply that by 55%. That gives you 110 beats per minute. Now, if you do the same thing with 90%, 200 times 90%, it equals 180 beats per minute. That means your target heart rate zone is 110 to 100 beats per minute. It's a big zone. And you may want to, depending upon what your goals are, if goals are weight loss, you may want to keep your heart rate in a lower zone so that you go for an extended period of time. But if you're wanting a little bit higher intensity, you may want to set it at 70% versus 55%. So go off of what your goals are. Why is this important? Staying in that target heart rate zone helps your cardiovascular and lung health. If you're exercising below the range, it may not be working hard enough to improve fitness. And if you're going above that range, you could risk overexertion or injury, especially if you're not conditioned for high intensity. So knowing your target heart rate helps you exercise safely and effectively. So the heart rate reserve is another method of calculating your target heart rate zone. And it calculates it utilizing your resting heart rate. So it really individualizes the range specifically for you. And so it takes the difference between your maximum heart rate and your resting heart rate. And it creates a safe and effective cardiovascular training method for you. So you're going to calculate your heart rate reserve. You do that by taking the max heart rate, so 220 minus your age, and then you subtract the resting heart rate. That's going to give you that heart rate reserve. And then you're going to take that and you're going to multiply the intensity levels that you're wanting to utilize. And then you're going to add that resting heart rate back in. I know, it all sounds crazy. So let's walk through it. You're going to take your max heart rate. We're going to say 200 beats per minute. So we're utilizing that 20-year-old. 220 minus the age, 200 beats per minute is the max heart rate. Resting heart rate is 60 beats per minute. And then the desired intensity is 70 to 90%. So step 1, the heart rate reserve. 200 is the max heart rate. Subtract resting heart rate of 60. That gives you 140. Then step 2, go into the target heart rate. 140, you're going to take that 140 and multiply that by 70%. And then you're going to add 60 beats per minute back in. That's going to give you 158 beats per minute. That's the lower range. The upper range, you're going to take that 140 and multiply it by 90% and then add the 60 back in. That's going to give you that 186 beats per minute, or that upper range. So 158 to 186 is really where that person should aim to keep their heart rate. Why is this important? It just individualizes your training intensity and helps you to avoid undertraining as well as overtraining. It typically is a little safer for individuals, especially with those with medical conditions or with lower fitness levels. So we talked about the FIT formula in our previous session, where we're talking about frequency, how often you exercise. This is putting it into context for cardiorespiratory endurance. And so ideally, you should do about 3 to 5 days per week. Your intensity is how hard you work. And ideally, it should be between 55 to 90% of your maximal heart rate, or heart rate max, or 40 to 85% of your heart rate reserve. We'll talk more about that. And your time, how long you exercise, should be from about 20 to 60 minutes. And as far as the mode of aerobic activity, it could be walking, running, swimming, anything along that line. Now, your cardiorespiratory endurance, it is measured by using tests such as VO2 max testing, 1.5 mile run test, or the step test. Or you may have done this in school, would be the PACER, which is Progressive Aerobic Cardiovascular Endurance Run. Regular aerobic exercise, it helps to strengthen the heart and increase the lung capacity, improve circulation, and boost energy levels. So it is so important. Now, body composition refers to the percentage of your body weight that is made up of fat compared to fat-free or lean tissue, which includes muscles, bones, organs, and fluids. Understanding body composition is important because it gives a clearer picture of health than just body weight or BMI alone. Why does it matter? Excess body fat, especially around the midsection, is linked to serious health issues like heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and certain cancers. Obesity is a condition where body fat reaches an unhealthy level, and it's associated with numerous health risks. What affects body composition? 2 major factors. First is nutrition. It's about what and how much you eat. And physical activity, especially a combination of cardio and strength training. Another key concept is energy balance. That's the relationship between the calories you take in and the calories you burn. To maintain your weight, energy in must equal energy out. And to improve body composition, the goal is often to reduce fat while preserving or building lean muscle, which typically requires burning more calories than you consume through consistent healthy habits. In short, achieving and maintaining a favorable body composition requires a smart combination of healthy eating, regular exercise, and lifestyle balance. Our bodies are constantly using energy, even when we're not moving. So let's look at 3 main processes through which energy is expended. The first of those is basal metabolism. This is the energy used to maintain essential life functions like breathing, circulating blood, regulating body temperature, and cell production. It's called your basal metabolic rate, or BMR, and it accounts for the largest portion of your daily energy use, about 60 to 75%. Now, work is the physical activity and exercise. This includes all the energy your body uses for movement, whether it's walking, lifting, running, or playing sports. This is the most variable part of your energy expenditure and can be increased significantly with exercise. Now, the last part of this is excretion and digestion. This is the thermic effect of food. Energy is also used to digest food, absorb nutrients, and eliminates waste from the body. It's called the thermic effect of food, or TEF. and it usually counts for about 5 to 10% of your daily energy use. All three of these processes together determine how many calories your body burns each day. Understanding them can help with managing weight, improving your fitness, and planning nutrition. To estimate whether someone is in a healthy weight range, we often use the body mass index, or BMI. It's a quick screening tool, but it's not perfect measurement. It gives us a general idea of body weight relative to height. Here's the formula. It's your weight in pounds multiplied by 703, and then you divide the height in inches squared. So again, multiply your weight in pounds by 703, then divide that number by height in inches squared. Now, I will tell you that it's not a measure that can be used for children. It's for adults only, and it does not look at how much muscle mass you have. And so it can be there, again, it's not a perfect measure. So let's walk through an example of how to calculate body mass index. Suppose someone weighs 150 pounds and is 65 inches tall. We use the formula again, weight in pounds multiplied by 703 and divided by height in inches squared. So in this case, 150 inches multiplied by 703 would be 105,450. And you divide that by 65 multiplied by 65, which is 4225 or 4225. And your number would be 24.96. Now, this puts that person at the upper end of the normal weight range according to BMI classifications. But it's important to remember, BMI doesn't tell the full story. It doesn't distinguish between muscle and fat. So someone with a lot of muscle might have a high BMI but still be very healthy. That's why it's best to use BMI alongside other tools like body composition measurements to get a more complete picture of someone's health. Now let's talk about energy balance, which is the relationship between the number of calories taken in through food and the number of calories your body uses or expends. The basic formula is calories in minus calories out equals energy balance. There are three possible outcomes. You have neutral balance. This happens when caloric intake equals caloric expenditure. Your body weight stays the same because you're using as much energy as you're consuming. You could have positive energy balance. This occurs when you consume more calories than you burn. And over time, this is going to lead to weight gain, often in the form of fat storage. And then what most of us are looking for is negative energy balance. This is when you burn more calories than you're consuming. Your body is using that stored energy as fat and sometimes muscle, leading to weight loss. So understanding energy balance is essential for setting and reaching goals like losing fat, maintaining weight, or building muscle. And it's influenced by factors like diet, physical activity, metabolism, and lifestyle choices. When it comes to reducing body fat, the key is to create a caloric deficit where you burn more calories than you're taking in. There are a few ways to do this. And so decreasing your caloric intake by making healthier food choices and controlling portion sizes. This means eating fewer processed foods and added sugars and focusing on balanced meals with lean proteins, whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. And increasing caloric expenditure by being more physically active. This could include adding regular exercise like cardio, strength training, and even increasing daily movement like walking or taking the stairs. The most effective and sustainable approach is a moderate combination of both. A moderate decrease in calories and a moderate increase in activity leads to safe, long-term fat loss without compromising your energy or health. But it's important to follow sound practices. An obsession with weight loss, especially when combined with unrealistic expectations or social pressure, can lead to disordered eating behaviors and even serious eating disorders. So the focus should always be on health and not just numbers on a scale. a balanced approach guided by proper nutrition and regular exercise is the safest and most effective way to decrease body fat and improve overall well-being. When assessing physical fitness and overall health, body composition gives us a better picture than weight alone. It tells us how much of the body is made up of fat mass versus lean mass, which includes muscles, bones, organs, and fluids. So how is body composition measured? There are several common methods used to estimate simple body fat percentage. The first of those is skin fold calipers that you see there on the left. They measure fat under the skin at specific body sites, and you can utilize 3 sites, 5 sites, or a 7-site calculation to do that. The bioelectrical impedance analysis, or BIA, sends a safe electrical current through the body to estimate fat and lean mass. I don't have a picture of that here. And then hydrostatic weighing. It considers body density through underwater weighing. I don't have a picture of that either. Now the DEXA scan, you do see that down below in the center. It's a clinical method that uses x-rays to measure bone, fat, and lean tissue, and this really considered to be the gold standard across them all. Now, BODPOD uses air displacement to estimate body composition. Each of these methods varies in accuracy, availability, and cost, but all can provide helpful insights into body fat levels. So let's talk a little bit about body fat percentage norms. And it's important to remember that some body fat is essential for health, especially for hormone regulation, temperature control, and organ protection. Here are general body fat norms for healthy individuals. So if we look at men, they need 2 to 5% for normal functioning, and it's essential fat. For athletes, they usually have about 6 to 13% fat. And for those who are just general fitness, it's 14 to 17%. And for just the average male, they should have about 18 to 24%. Anything above that 25% is considered to be obese. So it's to be aware of. Now, for women, we need a little bit more fat than men do for hormone regulation, and so typically we need about 10 to 13%. Athletes will typically be between about 14 to 20%, and then for general fitness about 21 to 24%, and then just for the average female about 25 to 31%. Now, anything above 32% is considered to be obese. And like I said, as women, we naturally carry more essential fat for reproductive and hormonal functions than healthy, and so our healthy ranges are higher than men's. So really important with measuring body composition, rather than relying on the scale, it helps us to create more effective personalized fitness and nutrition plans, and help to maintaining a healthy body fat percentage is way more important than chasing a specific weight or number on the scale. Now, human bodies generally fall into 3 categories based on their natural build and tendency to gain muscle or fat. These are called somatotypes. Now, an ectomorph is one that is characterized by a lean and slender build with narrow shoulders and hips. Typically, they have a fast metabolism, making it hard to gain weight or muscle mass, especially in the early years, and usually have really long limbs and little body fat. They often excel in endurance sports or activities requiring agility. They may need to focus on consuming more calories and strength training in the beginning or early to build muscle. Now, mesomorphs are naturally muscular and athletic with broad shoulders and a narrow waist. They gain muscle easily and tend to have a medium metabolism. Their body fat is usually moderate, and they respond well to both strength and cardiovascular training. They are considered to be the ideal body type for bodybuilding and many sports. The endomorph has a rounder, softer body shape with wide hips and a tendency to store fat more easily. Typically, they have a slower metabolism and gain weight easily, both muscle and fat. They may find it harder to lose fat, but can build muscle with proper training. And they often excel in strength sports, but may need to monitor their diet closely to manage body composition. So most people are a combination of these types, and rather than fitting perfectly into one category, understanding your somatotype can help tailor training and nutrition plans that work best for your unique body. Now, muscular strength is the ability of a muscle or muscle group to exert force against a resistance. Simply put, this is the maximum force you can exert in a single effort. Think about lifting the heaviest box you can move or doing one heavy squat. That's muscular strength in action. But it's not just about lifting heavy things. A major benefit of muscular strength is the production of power to enhance performance. Power is that explosive ability to be faster and more forceful, which is critical in almost every sport. It's really what sets sport apart from just general fitness. Now, muscular endurance is the ability of a muscle or muscle group to exert force repeatedly or over a period of time. This is your muscle's ability to keep going without getting tired. Instead of one heavy lift, like one repetition maximum bench press, think about how many push-ups you can do in a row, or holding a plank. That's muscular endurance. One of the most important everyday benefits of muscular endurance is that it helps contribute to the maintenance of proper posture and to protect joints. Now, strong, enduring muscles in your core and back help you sit and stand tall all day long, preventing aches and protecting your joints from injury. So, strength is about that single maximal effort, while endurance is about repeating an effort over time. Both are vital for peak performance and long-term health. The three fundamental types of muscle exercises are isometric, isotonic, and isokinetic. Understanding these will change the way you think about your workout. Now, isometric exercises are your muscle exerts a force against an immovable object. It's a static contraction. And so that static means no movement, and contraction means the muscle is tensing up. So in isometric exercise, your muscle exerts force, but it doesn't change in length. You're pushing or pulling against something that won't budge, or simply holding a position. So think about a plank or doing a wall sit. Your abs, backs, and shoulders are firing like crazy to hold your body still, or a wall sit where your quad muscles are under tension, but your knee angle isn't changing. That's a static contraction. These are fantastic for building stability and endurance in a specific position. Now, isotonic exercises is force that is generated while the muscle is changing in length. And we have concentric and eccentric contractions. And so this is what we typically think about when we're working out. In these exercises, your muscle length does change to move a constant way or resistance. Isotonic movements have two crucial phases, concentric and eccentric. If we look at the bicep curl, the concentric action is when you lift the weight. Your bicep muscle shortens and it bunches up. Then concentric. So think concentric or construct or shorten. The eccentric contraction is when you lower the weight in a controlled way. Your bicep is still under tension, but it is lengthening. This eccentric phase is just as important for building strength. And so if you are doing a push-up or lifting groceries from a bag, your squats, your push-ups, your pull-ups, your lifting weights, you're even carrying your groceries. These are all isotonic exercises. They are the foundation for building muscle size and dynamic strength. And isokinetic exercises. These are contractions that are performed at a constant velocity. K-I-N-E or kinetic, first part of kin means movement, and iso means equal, so it translates at equal speed. So no matter how hard you push or pull, the machine using will only let you move at one preset speed. These machines are most often found in physical therapy and high-tech rehabilitation centers. Because the resistance adapts to your effort throughout the entire range of motion, isokinetic exercises are one of the safest and most efficient ways to measure muscle strength and recover from an injury. So isometric means no movement, it's static, it's holding that plank, versus isotonic, where you have concentric, shortening exercises or contractions, and then lengthening or eccentric contractions like the squat. And then isokinetic, where everything is at a constant speed, and it's usually requiring specialized equipment. All three are great for incorporating into your routine. And so it's good to have a well-rounded, functional, and resilient training program. So let's review some foundational terms we'll use when working on strength or endurance. Repetition, a rep. A rep is one complete movement, like one push-up, one squat, or one bicep curl through the full range of motion. Set is a group of reps done without rest. So if you do 10 squats in a row, that's one set of 10 reps. Now, for muscular strength, typically to build strength, we focus on heavier weight with fewer reps. Think 3 to 6 repetitions at a high resistance, 70 to 85, 90%. This trains your muscles to generate more force. For muscular endurance, we lighten the load and we increase the reps. So that's usually 12 to 20 repetitions or more. This helps your muscles resist fatigue over time. So the key is knowing your goal, strength or endurance, and adjusting your reps and resistance to match. The FIT principle is a foundational framework we've used and to design a safe and effective exercise program tailored to your specific goals. So again, it stands for frequency, intensity, time, and type. By manipulating those 4 variables, you can create your workout that builds both muscular strength and endurance. So if we break it down, frequency again is how often you train. The recommendation is to engage in muscle strengthening activities around 3 days per week. The best practice is generally advised to schedule these workouts on non-consecutive days, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This gives your muscle adequate time to recover and repair and grow stronger between your sessions. So you typically want to give 48 hours. Now, intensity is how hard to work. Intensity in resistance training is determined by the number of repetitions you perform, which in turn dictates how much weight you should lift. The formula provides 2 distinct paths based on the goals. So for muscular strength, you're going to do 1 to 8 repetitions per set. To achieve this low rep count, the resistance weight must be heavy. Again, about 75 or probably 85 to 95% or 100%. You should be lifting a weight that is only challenging enough that you can only manage about 8 reps at the most. Now, for muscular endurance, you're going to perform 8 to 20 repetitions per set. To accomplish that high rep range, you need a lighter resistance that allows you to complete more reps before your muscles fatigue. Now, how long should you train? Typically, the recommendation is to perform 1 to 5 sets of each exercise. For beginners, you might start with 1 to 2 sets and gradually increase as they get stronger. For advanced lifters aiming for significant strength or muscle growth, often performing 3 to 6 sets is not out of the question. Now, for a strength-focused workout, it might be more like 4 sets of 6 repetitions, while an endurance-focused workout would be 3 sets of 15. So the formula really, it depends upon the types of exercise that you're doing to build muscular fitness, whether you're using isotonic or progressive resistance exercises, moving a constant weight through a range of motion, the squats, push-ups, bicep curls. And progressive means you're gradually increasing the weight as you get stronger. The isometric are the static exercises where the muscle contracts but doesn't change length, like holding a plank or performing that wall sit. and the isokinetic exercises that involve a constant speed. All of them are important to incorporate into your program so that you have a good, balanced, and effective plan to improve your muscular strength and endurance. Let's talk a little bit about flexibility and range of motion. Flexibility refers to the maximum range of motion possible at a joint, and it is essential for overall movement and function. It is joint specific, meaning some joints naturally allow more movement than others. For example, the shoulder joint is more flexible than the knee. Maintaining good flexibility helps to prevent muscle injuries and reduce stiffness and lower the risk of low back pain by allowing muscles and joints to move freely through their full range. Factors that can decrease flexibility include lack of regular use or stretching of muscles. It leads to stiffness and reduced mobility, and aging. As muscles and connective tissues naturally lose elasticity over time. Also, high amounts of body fat, which can physically limit joint movement. And muscle tension caused by stress or poor posture or overuse. So improving flexibility through regular stretching and mobility exercises can enhance athletic performance, such as jumping over a hurdle or reducing injury risk and promoting better posture and movement efficiency. There are different types of stretching. Ballistic stretching, which involves using momentum generated from repeated bouncing or jerking movements to stretch the muscle beyond its normal range. This method is generally not recommended because it can increase the risk of muscle strains and injuries due to the uncontrolled forces involved. Static stretching, on the other hand, involves slow moving into a stretch position and holding that position for a sustained period of time, allowing the muscle to lengthen gradually. Typically holding each stretch for 10 to 30 seconds and repeating about 5 times for best results. Static stretching is considered safer and more effective for improving flexibility and muscle relaxation. Now, dynamic stretching is an active form of stretching where movements are controlled and repeated, gently increasing range of motion while raising blood flow to the muscles. For example, including leg swings or arm circles or walking lunges. Dynamic stretching is an ideal as a warm-up before exercise because it prepares the muscles and joints for movement without causing fatigue. And then doing static stretches at the end of your exercise program can help to increase that muscle length and help you to build that flexibility. Now, additional stretching techniques are contract and relax technique. It's a method that involves first contracting the muscle opposite to the one being stretched, or the antagonist, which helps the target muscle, the agonist, to relax. This relaxation allows for a deeper stretch. For example, to stretch the hamstrings, you would contract the quadriceps, which helps the hamstrings relax and lengthen more effectively. This technique is often used in proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, or PNF, stretching to improve flexibility. So again, using our FIT principles and recommendations, as far as frequency is concerned for muscular flexibility, you really want to do some type of stretching every single day. And as far as the intensity is concerned, you want to stretch past the normal length until you feel resistance. Now, if you feel pain, you've gone too far. But the idea is to relax that muscle in static stretching and hold it to help to lengthen those muscle groups. And you hold the stretch for about 5 to 10 seconds initially, building up to that 30 to 60 seconds. And as far as the type is concerned, static stretching, again, you want to do that at the end of your exercise routine. Dynamic would be more at the beginning to warm the body up, to stretch and loosen out the tense muscles and that sort of thing. Contract and relax technique is a great method for before exercise. If you want to have a partner and stretch, doing some PNF stretching, things along that line, but it's also good to do any other time as well. When developing an exercise program, it's essential to consider participants' unique circumstances. So medical considerations, you always want to take into account any medical conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, or asthma. These can affect exercise tolerance and safety. You also have to consider their individual goals. Programs should reflect the participants' fitness levels, their needs, and their personal goals, whether it's improving strength, endurance, or managing weight. And you want to be careful about projecting your goals for them onto them as a trainer. Now, the best program is the one people stick with, choosing activities that are enjoyable, varied, and aligned with their interests to encourage consistency. And it's not just about doing the workouts, it's about learning the why. Teach participants how to design a personal fitness plan and assess their own fitness and solve barriers that they might face. Ultimately, the goal is to create a program that is safe, effective, and sustainable, supporting both health and motivation. Now, environmental conditions can greatly impact exercise safety and performance, especially in environments like ours in Corpus Christi, where it is hot. And so you have to use extreme caution when exercising in the heat. High temperatures and humidity can lead to heat cramps, which are painful muscle spasms, heat exhaustion, which causes fatigue, nausea, and dizziness, and heat stroke is a life-threatening emergency. Really, you want to make sure that you're hydrating regularly before, during, and after exercise, and also allow time for acclimation. So gradually adjust to the heat. And it might be better to exercise in cooler parts of the day, like in the morning or late in the evening. And make sure that you're wearing light clothing and take breaks. Now, extreme cold weather. It requires us to conserve our body heat. And so the risks include hypothermia, which is dangerously low body temperature, or frostbite, which is freezing of skin and tissues, especially fingers, toes, and ears. Really, to prevent this, you want to dress in layers covering exposed skin. Stay dry, as wet clothing tends to increase our heat loss, and monitor wind chill and limit outdoor exposure when needed. So no matter the season, preparation and awareness are key to staying safe while staying active. So in summary, our health and fitness components include cardiorespiratory endurance, which it includes our heart and lungs and the efficiency of them. Ideally, you should exercise 3 to 5 times per week at an intensity level of about 55 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. Now, your session should be about 20 to 60 minutes per session. And they should include aerobic activities like running, swimming, and cycling. For muscular strength and endurance, you want to do that about 3 days per week. And for strength, you're going to use heavy resistance for 1 to 8 reps versus the endurance, which is a lighter resistance, about 8 to 20 reps. And you're going to do about 1 to 5 sets per exercise. Your resistance exercise should be either isotonic and progressive, ideally. It's good to use some isometric exercises to help, and especially keeping the core strong. But isotonic exercises with the shortening and the lengthening, concentric and eccentric exercises, contractions. And you want to do that really for flexibility. You want to do it most days of the week, and you're going to stretch until resistance is felt and hold that stretch for about 30 to 60 seconds. And it's good to do static stretching at the end of your exercise routine, dynamic at the beginning, or that contract and relax PNF stretching. Now, body composition. Again, we use body mass index and body fat percentage as key indicators. To help improve that, you want to achieve balanced energy intake with your diet and with energy expenditure, the physical activity. And then as far as body types are concerned, individuals may be predisposed to being an ectomorph, which is really lean, or mesomorph, which is more muscular, or even endomorph, which is rounded. And that is all that I have for you today. Have a great day. I'll talk with you again.